It's a Guy Jeans podcast.
My guest today, Clayton Q, has led a career in music since his high school days of playing in a local pub for tips back home in Kentucky in the early 2000s. Having nearly 2 decades as a touring Nashville recording artist, he has shared the stage and TV screen with some of the music industry's biggest artists all across the board, from Kid Rock, Gretchen Wilson, John Rich, Darius Rucker, Keith Anderson, Def Leppard, Hunter Hayes, Winona, Billy Idol, Walker Hayes, Kentucky Headhunters, Craig Morgan, Terry Clark, Mark Chestnut, the Bellamy Brothers, and the list goes on. Clayton Q is a 2-time award-winning artist, taking home Male Country Artist of the Year 2 years back-to-back at the Josie Music Awards. Furman Power Equipment is the official sponsor of Clayton Q's nationwide tour. So without further ado, Clayton Q. Clayton, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good, Guy. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for being on my podcast.
Hey, man, thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to be here.
You know, on my podcast, I usually have folks that are super passionate about what they do and are inspiration to others. So I'm excited to talk to you because of your music career and everything you have been doing. And I've been researching you, man.
Oh, wow. Are you a private investigator?
Yeah, totally.
FBI.
I've been watching your videos and listening to your music, and it's all good, man. I'm really impressed.
Yeah,
it's really good
really
stuff.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that. You know, I've got some great content out there already. I'm working on several other pieces and records or tracks to release here within the next few months. So we'll give you some more listening pleasure.
Oh, that's awesome. Where are you right now?
Right now, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, but we're headed up to the great state of Ohio to see all the Buckeyes this Saturday, Newport, Ohio.
Are you
going to be performing with an annual firefighters festival? There we go.
Oh, awesome, man. Are you touring a lot right now?
Yeah, pretty much. We have 2 to 3 shows a weekend from April through October. Is pretty much my busy season.
So for those who don't know, you know, I did a bio, of course, on you and stuff, but for those who don't know you, who is Clayton Q?
You know, I really love to identify myself as the guy in the neighborhood that grew up mowing everyone's yards and working for my uncle at the barbershop and working hard. And that's who I am at my core. I come from a small family and a mama's boy. But at the same time, when I hit the stage, you think I stole my dance moves from James Brown or Elvis Presley. And we like to play music. I have a band of a great gentleman that I've met in my time here in Nashville. And we like for our music to bring everyone together.
Yeah.
And that's who I am.
Well,
I like to bring people together in happiness.
I love it. How did you figure out, like when you were younger, you know, that you were going to be a musician, or how did you get a guitar and start playing, or how'd that all go down?
You know, my family would get together at my grandma's house on my father's side pretty much every weekend. It was like on every Saturday night, my family get together. My dad would play guitar. My mom would play guitar. My grandma sat in a rocking chair in the middle of the living room. My dad had 4 brothers and 3 sisters, and everyone would meet with their children and grandchildren at my grandma's house, and there'd be like 60 people lined throughout the house, and there'd be banjos and dulcimers and guitars, and they'd be singing. And I just come to think, hey, this is cool. I'm going to see my cousins. They're going to play music. I'm going to learn to play guitar. You know, I just thought this was a thing that everyone did. And when I was in school, people would say, what are you going to do this weekend? I'd be like, well, I'm just go to my family's house and we're going to play music. They're like, I'll play music. Who plays music? I was like, well, everybody plays a guitar or something. I learned that no one else's family did this. My family does this, you know?
Yeah.
And so I grew up, it became in my blood. And I loved it. And as I grew older, you know, I started playing music myself and learning that there was more to music than just the oldies and the old gospel hymns, the old Tom T. Halls. I love Tom T. Hall. Grew up listening to his music being played live from my aunts and uncles. And it really started my core and my roots in music at a young age.
So you guys were all jamming like in the living room and out on the porch and stuff like that? And that's what I'm picturing. That's
always.
How fun is that?
Always. Huh? Always. Every holiday, every weekend, it was free. Yeah, it was fun.
Was it like bluegrass and country type stuff that you guys were playing out there?
Yeah, core bluegrass, core traditional country.
And so were you guys like making up songs, or were you guys doing other people's songs, like when you were singing on the porch?
They were covering other people's songs, Johnny Cash songs, Elvis songs, Tom T. Hall, George Jones,
Yeah.
Conway Twitty.
Yeah.
That's why I grew up. Buck Owens. I grew up listening to those songs, and then a few gospel hymns in there as well.
Have you been out to Bakersfield yet to play?
I've passed the exit for Bakersfield 4 times going from LA to San Francisco, and never had time on my route to stop.
Yeah. That's Buck Owens Crystal Palace, man, you would be a hit there. Just to put that in your FYI for sure, man, because
I most definitely have that planned. My girlfriend, she actually is related to Buck Owens, and there's a picture of her family in the palace there upstairs, and so we plan to go there within the next year and see that.
Yeah, I mean, you should play there, man, because your music is right up their alley. I
would love to try to put that together. We're going to be in Pittsburgh, just north of there, Pittsburgh, California, on September 9th and 10th of this year, and man, I'd love to put something together so it would work out that we could be out in Bakersfield.
You guys should. I am up in a little town called Kernville, California, which is it's up in the mountains up above Bakersfield. And it's, so a lot of people in this area love country music, of course. And there's a big movement in Bakersfield called the Bakersfield Sound, of course, but, and all that. And you would be a hit there, man. I'm telling you, just maybe get your tour manager to book you a show there, and people would show up. I guarantee it, man.
Dude, let me tell you something that's up until this point that's maybe kind of crazy, or maybe you won't believe it. I don't know, but you said you did research. You've seen how many places across America that we went to, right?
Yeah, of course.
You see all my traveling.
Yeah.
About 10 years ago, I volunteered to work for a hip-hop label that was signed under Universal Music Group, and I learned how to be a booking agent.
Did you?
And I've never had a booking agent. All these places I've toured across the world.
You do that all yourself?
I did it all myself.
Wow.
Learned I was a tour manager. I learned how to be a touring manager for other artists. And dude, I cut out the middleman to save that money, and I have the experience myself, and I talk the lingo, and I create the contracts and the writer agreements, and I do the bookings, and I still do the logistics and the coordination and the finances and the CPA and everything.
You know what? Oh my God, that's awesome, man. A lot of people, and I've said this on my show before, people have no idea how hard musicians work. And I mean, now you're telling me you do all the booking and all that kind of stuff too. That's crazy, man. That's awesome. And you're a hardworking guy, that's for sure. You think, as an independent, you can only get booked for so many things. And that is true for the first several years. But once you build a reputation in a circle of people that you've worked with, your reputation grows. And if you work as hard as we do, then your reputation will grow, and you will have to start turning down shows and gigs, because that's become something more prevalent in 2023. And I never thought I would have to turn down a show, but I've had to turn down so many shows this year because we're already booked. Awesome. Dude,
and it's such a blessing to have.
It is, man. How about your tour bus, man? That thing is awesome. I was checking that thing out on the video, and there's like a tour video, you go in there and stuff. But that tour bus, not only, it says your name, Clayton Q, on the outside and real big, but it has your sponsor on there, right?
Yeah, it has Furman Power Equipment. It's my tour sponsor last year and this year as well. And so I worked hard. I have a lot of loyal fans that believe in me as well. And, I did some crowdfunding. I had some donations from fans as well, and working hard and saving up my pennies. And I had bought a bus that was a former Pink Floyd crew bus. And
Awesome.
and I sold that one and got Rodney Crowell's old bus, which he's a country singer as well, and real popular in the 80s and 90s. And after I flipped out of that one, I bought T.G. Shepherd's bus, and that's my current bus.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of T.G. Shepherd's first buses. And he built out the living room like the jungle room at Graceland. He actually lived at Graceland with Elvis when he was younger.
I saw that. It looks awesome, man.
And so it built out like the jungle room. But so Furman Power Equipment's my tour sponsor. They were proud enough of me to partner with me and wrap the bus with their mobile billboard, as well as my face bigger than my house.
That's for sure. I was like, my God.
I appreciate it. We worked very hard for that.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on that. What's it like touring? Like, is your band cruising in that bus too, or are they going in a separate?
We're all cruising in the bus. We have 4 pretty large bunks at the rear of the bus, and then a shower, double vanity, a toilet room with the door in the front and the door in the back, and then I have a master bed in the middle with a hallway that goes down the side, and then we have the living room area, which has a circle couch with a circle corner, and then a couple of recliners. We have a sink vanity with TVs.
Yeah,
it's real nice. And then the front, we have a buddy driver seat, which if we're driving 20 hours, then our one driver can drive for 10, and they can swap, and the next driver can drive.
Right on. And where's all your gear and stuff? Is that getting towed behind too?
We have an enclosed box trailer.
Nice.
And it's a fairly large. It's about an 8 by 20, and tandem axle. We pull it behind the bus. It's also got a wrap on it. I don't have that many pictures of that one online. There's a few.
Is everybody super cool? Like your whole band, you guys must get along amazing.
Oh yeah, my utility banjo player, backup vocals, and harmonies. His name's Rhett Butler, and we met in 2005. One of my first years in Nashville, and he was hosting karaoke at a real popular nightclub chain called Graham Central Station. They had them a couple places scattered all over the U.S., but he was the head of entertainment there, and we met singing karaoke. We're friends for years, and eventually one day I needed to sell a guitar that I had, and he reached out to me, saw it online on Facebook Marketplace. This is like 2016, 2017, 2018. He said, "Hey, I want to buy that guitar." And I said, "Hey, man, remember you played band? You still play banjo?" He said, "Oh, yeah, I play banjo." I said, "Why don't you come over to the house, man? I've got a band. You can jam with us."
Awesome.
And he said, "Yeah, man, I'll come over." So he come over and brought his banjo, and we worked up a couple songs. And at the end of rehearsal, he said, "Hey, man, so about that guitar." I was like, "Oh, man, I sold that guitar a week ago." He's like, "Man, that's the whole reason I come over here." The guitar. But, we've been friends for years, and the drummer is Dan Reed, and he's actually from Hollywood, went to Hollywood High School out there in Cali. He knows all about North Cali and the Valley, and he's real excited that we're going to California to play. I met him through Carrot Top, the comedian.
Oh, no way.
Carrot Top was involved with a TV show called American Supergroup, which turned into Project Supergroup for currently. And but anyway, so Carrot Top was at a CMA party, and I was talking to him about playing in Nashville, and he said, "Why don't you come over to our party for American Supergroup?" And Dan Reed owns a cosmetics company, and Dan Reed Cosmetics, and he, as well as being a drummer, you wouldn't think those two go together, but he's an awesome, talented artist and a great chemist. He developed his own formula in Hollywood back in the 90s, and Well, anyway, he came to Nashville and started in Nashville and was working in entertainment. So we met. So we were friends for maybe 5 or 6 years before I asked him one day. I said, "Hey, man, I need a drummer in my band. Are you interested in coming to play drums?" He said, "Yeah, man, I'll come over." So, I mean, just the guitarist, we needed our guitarist was moving out of town, and my current guitarist, Randy Russell, was formerly jamming with the drummer in another band. So we called him, and he joined the band. And our bass player was recommended to us by a family friend. And I mean, we just got a strong core unit of band members. Everyone has some history in the music industry and some credibility, and they're awesome chops. And we all make great music together.
That's awesome. Are you guys writing songs together, or are you writing the songs?
We are.
Yeah. So we
write songs together. We create the music together, and a few songs that we're actually cutting this year are written by other people. I have some co-writes in there from us, but I have some songs that have been written by other talented songwriters. As I grow in the credibility in the music industry here in Nashville, people that are established writers are starting to take notice. Mm-hmm. And they've been reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I'd love it if you take a look at some of my songs. Maybe you could cut one of my songs. I'd really like that." And so I've listened to some great storylines that these talented writers have pitched me, and we've all agreed on several of the singles. And we're going to be cutting some of those songs this year as well. So you can expect in the next 12 months to hear at least 10 to 12 more songs out of Clayton Q in the band.
Wow, that's awesome. How does the songwriting process work for you guys as a band? Do you bring in an idea, or does somebody else bring in an idea, one of the other bandmates, and you guys kind of work on the song, and then there's like kind of a formula in the... Everyone,
everyone has pitched an idea, and we might have, Barrett might come in and say, "Hey, I have an idea for this song. Check out these lyrics. And this is kind of what I'm thinking." And then the lead guitarist can play variations of what he's thinking better. So he'll say, "Hey, how about this?" And we'll be like, "Yeah." And I'll be like, "Man, I have a great idea for second verse. That's a great storyline."
Mm-hmm.
And we'll start putting something together. I might come in with an entire song written that I woke up out of sleep in the middle of the night and wrote.
Yeah.
But I don't really have that great of a bass for it, a bass starting point.
Yeah.
And my lead guitarist will start playing something, and somebody else might start playing, the bass player might start playing a bass line, and then Rick comes in with, "Hey, check out this banjo," and then all of a sudden, boom, in 5 minutes, we've got a song ready to be recorded.
Isn't that nice to have?
We all have so much creativity. Oh, yeah, it's really nice.
Nice to have, bandmates that are creative and you guys can work together.
This is the thing in Nashville, Tennessee, as well as other places, but mostly in Nashville. There's so many individual people that came here to want to show their talent. You might have 100 bass players moving into town the same week, and then you got 35 guitarists. And so on Broadway or playing downtown entertainment at the nightclubs, or even touring artists, the individual. For example, I'm Clayton Q. My name's Clayton Quisenberry. I shortened it down to Clayton Q and trademarked that.
Nice.
Luke Bryan doesn't have the Luke Bryan band. Jason Aldean doesn't have the Jason Aldean band. It's Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean, and both of them have dedicated band.
Yeah.
I'm Clayton Q. I have my dedicated band. In Nashville, there's so many people that are just subs.
Yeah.
And you're playing cover songs, or you're playing other people's music, and you're saying, "Hey, I put a band together, and these guys have been with me, but my guitarist is booked somewhere else this weekend. So I need a replacement guitarist to learn these 5 original songs and these 55 cover songs in 3 days. And this is what it's paying. Who can join me?" And people will just show up and start playing with you that you never played with, because they know the songs, they know the number system, they've listened to somewhat of the covers, and then you'll drive out of town and you'll play for 3 hours, and then come back, and you might not see them no more for another year. Whereas my band, and I can say this, my band, these guys support me, and I would not have the sound that I have without these men contributing their creativity to our success together.
Yeah, super
important. So I'm very, very blessed to have a set band that we can all schedule a rehearsal and all plan to go out of town without having to worry that, hey, we've got to replace the bass player.
I know. Isn't that nice?
Real nice.
Yeah. So let's talk about your songs. I mean, these are some of your original songs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Blue Collar America.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nashville, which I want to talk about. Yep. Save Myself, great song. You Left Me, which is another great song. Drive, love that song. And then it looked like you guys were using in this video called Crawl, the General Lee car. Yeah,
General Lee from the Dukes of Hazzard. That's
awesome.
That's
man.
One of my earlier ones. That's one of my earlier songs. That's I've got 2 songs on there that the band didn't play on, and that's Save Myself and Crawl, and those were 2 earlier songs. And I recorded Crawl actually in 2011, and I made a music video for it in 2016.
Awesome, man. That's a great video. That Blue Collar America, is that your newest one?
Welcome to Nashville is the most recent song.
Okay.
Blue Collar America, the music video features John Rich from the band Big and Rich.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been a mentor to me the better half of 10 years of my career, and been a friend to me. And when I reached out to him and asked him if he would help me out and have a cameo in my music video, Blue Collar America, he said he'd be honored to.
That's great. It's a great video.
So thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And you can see all the band members in that video.
Welcome to Nashville. You know, it's like it looks like it's a kind of a typical thing that might happen to up and coming artists. You know, you go into a club, and it's all, no one's in there, and you take your guitar up there and you start singing, and kind of almost like right? Is that pretty on the money there?
It is. That's about the first 15 years of my life as a songwriter in Nashville, and I really, that was one of those things where I'm sitting down, I'm waking up in the morning, I'm like, man, what am I doing here in Nashville? I've been spinning the wheels for 15 years, and since 2004, it's like 2019. I'm like, I've got some big things that's happened to me, but I really I want to just write out my story. And in about 15 minutes, I wrote that entire song.
Right.
And I started playing it, and then eventually we recorded it, and then COVID happened. During COVID, I recorded and released Save Myself first, then Welcome to Nashville. And when we filmed the video for Welcome to Nashville, there wasn't that many people in downtown. And we filmed that in like December 2020.
Mm-hmm.
I did Save Myself in the video in like February, March, or April of 2020. But around the end of 2020, some people were starting to come back out, but there wasn't really a whole lot of people. You can still see people wear their masks down the side of Broadway in the Welcome to Nashville video, but there were so many people not out that Nashville was kind of empty. It was the perfect time to go out and film that video. Yeah,
the streets are totally empty, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the very end, I'm standing right in the middle of the street, in front of a red light, and some cars are at the light and they're going around me, but
Yeah, that was cool.
A whole lot of people. That was the perfect time to make that video. But so many people have reached out to me. People say, "Oh man, that's a great song." But so many artists have reached out to me, and so many of my co-parts, people that are, other songwriters that I've met, or maybe they don't know me, and they say, "Man, I just heard your Welcome to Nashville song, and you said it, man. I'm like a fan of yours now, man. You said it."
Yeah.
And someone that works in broadband radio that I had met, they said, "Clay, all your music's great, but Welcome to Nashville will never make it on the radio in your car. And here's why." He said, "Because you tell the truth. And if they started playing that song on the radio, no one would want to move to Nashville and spend all their money to make it."
Were they wrong though? Did they play it?
They're not wrong. They're not wrong. The song is basically saying, "Hey, you're going to come to Nashville, and chances are slim you're probably going to play for 20 years, and figure out how to live 20 or 30 years in Nashville, and then not make it." I'm not giving people hope, but at the same time, I'm telling my story. Like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Welcome to Nashville. You hear the stories time and time again. However, that being said, I would never discourage anyone from coming to Nashville or going wherever they thought their dreams were and chasing them.
Exactly.
You know, there's a new song, you got a dream, chase it, because the dream don't chase you back. But you got a chance, take it. You know, absolutely, I encourage everyone to go pursue their dreams. And pursuing my dreams is what enabled me to write that song, Welcome to Nashville, and I would never regret that.
Is there some artists in Nashville where you'll go out at night and you just be like, why is this guy not a star, or gal? Why is this gal not a star? Do you see that when in some of the clubs when you go into town and stuff?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You see that all over the place. There's so much talent here in Nashville. And then you'll see the new hottest artist that a big record label has signed, and they're doing a big promo campaign, and they can't play guitar, and they can only sing in one key, and they don't have any stage presence. And you're like, man, there's labels really pouring millions of dollars into this clown. And then here is someone that's so talented, right downtown Nashville, got crowd engagement. They're singing great music. I think it's an original song, and the labels are passing them up, but it makes absolutely no sense.
It's so weird, man. So weird. Do you find when you write a song, like sometimes a song takes like 15 minutes, like you said, and then some songs take longer? And why do you,
absolutely.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that it's, you know, some of them just like come to you so like super quick like that?
You know, I've started writing songs and put them up, and then didn't think about them for years, and then been cleaning out my desk and find the song and put it to the side. Then 6 months later, open it up and write the second verse.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. And so I'm no scientist. I'm no physicist. I don't know how the brain works like a doctor would. However, that being said, you know, there's been some times just like that where I think that my creativity from whatever I'm experiencing at that time, I might have a great hook, but I don't have a verse for it. And then I'll experience something later on, and it'll be stored in my brain somewhere, and I'll look at it and be like, hey, I've got an idea. Let me write this down.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I was writing some music that had never been released with Trent Tomlinson. And, you know, Trent Tomlinson, he's a very talented songwriter and artist. And this is some years ago. And I brought a notepad and a pencil, and he said, hey, I don't use a notepad. When I write with this other talented guy that wrote 7 songs on his first album, Ash Underwood, very talented songwriter here in Nashville, he said, me and Ash, we don't write anything down. We just start playing. And then whatever we come up with, we'll try to remember it. If we can remember it, we'll play it again. And they'll play it over and over and over. And then the very last time, they'll record it so they can have it as a reference. And they never write it down. And that's one way that people write music, because if they get to a writer's block, they're forced to remember that and make it better. And that's just one way that some songwriters write. I've met other writers that write like that. I'll write stuff down on my phone going down the road. I'll pull over on the side of the road and write it and type it in my notepad, which that's a great tool. You know, carry a pencil and notepad around, you know.
Yeah.
I've gone out to the desolate and remote areas around Nashville, out in the countryside, states away, wherever I was at, and just sat down and do my own form of meditation and write something.
It looks like you're doing a little bit of acting too, huh? Darius Rucker and doing some cameos on videos and stuff too, huh?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
We just wrapped up a music video. Actually, we opened for Big and Rich on April 1st this year in Port Charlotte, Florida, for the Big Boy Toys Expo down there in the Bay Area, and where John said, "Hey man, I want you guys to come back if you're back in Nashville Monday. We're going to shoot a music video called I'm Offended about things that are going on in the world today." And it's kind of a parody video. And we were in that on a Monday, April the 3rd, Tuesday, April the 4th. We filmed that in downtown Nashville, and it'll be released here pretty soon. There's some other prominent figures in the and politics and the news, and that you'll have to wait and watch that. I won't ruin it for you. But I did a video, with Darius Rucker, where I played his best friend in the video. Mm-hmm. It's called Beers and Sunshine, and that was actually filmed during the COVID pandemic as well. It took a while to bring that one together, and then I appeared in a movie called Salvage Yard Shine Boys. It's on Amazon Prime and Roku, and people can order DVDs of it as well. And I play myself in the film. A friend of mine actually the guy that has the General Lee replica that I drove in the crawl video is friends with several of the actors from the TV show Dukes of Hazzard series. Mm-hmm. And Chris Hensel, who played cousin Jeb Stewart Duke in season 2 and 3 of the Dukes of Hazzard, when John Snyder and Tom Wopat were in the process of renegotiating their contract for the show, they had these guys that played the cousins that come into town, and Chris was one of those. And he asked if he could book me for this film. And so I've got 2 songs. Welcome to Nashville is placed in there, and then Blue Collar America are also, those 2 songs have placements in that film.
Awesome, man.
And so I said, I'll play if I can play Clayton Q as Clayton Q. And he agreed to that.
So how did you get a gig working with Darius Rucker, doing the acting and stuff like that? How does that go down?
Well, I've been an actor. I've been in several videos and cameos in different types of media and press. And I've been an extra on the TV show Nashville, and then I became a recurring extra where they paid me like $200 a day to be there, whether I was on film or not, for a whole season. I was a recurring reporter for like 13 episodes, and I was there for 6 months every day. Wow. And I was on 13 episodes, which was great. I gained a lot of acting experience watching other folks. Yeah. And learning on the set and about the life, the production life and the production theory and all that. And so, I got a great resume. I've got a great agent. Big shout out to Morgan Graham from Graham Entertainment in Nashville, Tennessee. And she said, "Hey, they need someone with a beard for this film." And so I did an acting promo reel video audition and sent it in. And so the director at the time, however, he knew Darius Rucker, and so he's reviewing Darius Rucker. He's reviewing these things with Darius, like, hey, these people have auditioned, let's look at them. And they come up to mine, and so he told me, we're friends now. Yeah. His name is Bronston Jones, a very talented director and comedian and actor himself. And he said, I was looking for someone that looked like me because he wanted to be in the video, but he needed to direct the video. So he was looking for someone that looked like him, and I looked the most like him because I had a little bit of salt and pepper in my beard. And so they chose me to play the role. And after I learned that on set, and you become friends with the producers and the directors when you're on set for these things, because if you do a good job for them there, they know that if they need you in the future, they can give you a call and you might be available, and it might shortcut the process on casting if they're comfortable working with you. You want to get to know these people. So did my best effort to get to know him, and then later on he said, "Hey man, look, I'm in the area. What's going on? Let's have a cheeseburger." Yeah. So you end up networking and connecting with people like that. But yeah, that's how I got to be in there. And my name is not listed anywhere on that production, on that film. It's not on the YouTube. It's not on Facebook. Yeah. But because I have been at it with my music career for so long, nearly 2 decades, so many people around the world know my face. Yeah. It did so much for my career because everyone was like, "Oh my God, I just saw you in Darius Rucker's video." I had friends in Europe messaging me at 3:00 in the morning here. It's like 2 in the afternoon there. Yeah. And they're like, "Man, I just saw a Darius Rucker video with you in it, man. That's so cool, And I shared that to so-and-so, and they're the fair board director of Arizona. And the next thing you know, I'm getting a phone call from someone or email saying, hey, we know so-and-so, and they showed us your video and the Darius record video. We'd like to book you guys to come, And that's how it's just word of mouth, and people see my face and promoting me. It did a lot for my career just being in his video. And Darius is a kind gentleman as well. He was a great guy to hang out with for the day.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I saw another video of you singing with the beautiful voice of Vince Gill, and you two were harmonizing together. I mean, what was that like?
Oh, it was awesome. I told him that was the highlight of my career.
That's cool, man.
And one of the major highlights. And so, actually, that's at the backstage at the Grand Ole Opry is where we were singing at, and we were filming a promo commercial for an event that's actually happening Monday, June 26th in Franklin, Tennessee. It's the Rudy Callis is a celebrity announcer, sports announcer, and we're having an annual charity golf tournament, celebrity golf tournament in Franklin, Tennessee, and it's called the Rudy Callis Celebrity Golf Tournament. And so not Garth Brooks, Vince Gill's coming. Garth Brooks, I think they wanted to get him. They got Kix Brooks. Mm-hmm. They've got several other Titans players. They've asked me to come. And so Vince and I were at the Opry at the same time. And so we performed a chorus of Go Rest High on That Mountain, which was awesome.
Did you guys perform that too? Did you just do it in the back? He was
performing some of his new music, and I was there as a guest.
Okay. And you guys were just messing around in the back in the backstage. We met with the intent to film the promo for the golfing tournament. Okay.
So we sang together, and I thought that was so super cool.
Got it. Okay. How cool, man. So what is it like going out there and performing in front of? You probably performed in front of some pretty big crowds, huh?
Yeah, we have. I'll tell you. I'm going to tell you a funny story. I have performed voluntarily at a military event at Fort Campbell Military Base in Kentucky, right near Clarksville, Tennessee, and I was singing just by myself and cutting up, and so the wives of all the commanders were there having a happy hour right at the barracks on the base, and they had like this bar there, and I had went there for just a volunteer to go and sing, and they had other artists come, and so they were in charge of putting together this tour with MWR, with the Air Force and with all the military bases. So they said, hey, would you want to perform as an opener for this guy Hunter Hayes that we're having here in August? And so I said, yeah, I have a full band. So they booked us they checked me out like you did, a little FBI there. They checked me out, my music online, and decided they wanted to book us. And so we performed as an opening spot for Hunter Hayes on like Friday, August 18th. It was nearly 20,000 people there. It was just a sea of people. The biggest crowd, because the weekend before we were performing at a American Legion in Central City, Kentucky for like 60 people. And we're like, man, it's packed in here. And then there's like 20,000 people. And so what's so funny is that we were booked the following day on a Saturday, August the 19th, 2018. We were booked to play in Chattanooga at a seafood festival. So we were playing 20,000 people. We get backstage, we're crying. We're like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Yeah. And the next day there's like 17 people at the festival.
Isn't that crazy?
We're like, buzzkill. But we still energetic, still on the high, and we perform every show like there's 20,000 people there. It don't matter if it's pouring down rain and there's 30 people left. We will still perform like there's 20,000 people there.
So describe the feeling of you and your band right before you're getting ready to walk on stage and perform in front of those 20,000 people. Are you nervous? What's going on? What's going through your head?
I've wanted this for so long. I don't get nervous. It's nothing it's not something that's new. Yeah. And it comes with the territory. So as you are cutting your teeth, you will get bigger and bigger crowds. And as you do that, you'll become more comfortable in your own skin and more comfortable behind the mic or the guitar, whatever instrument that you're playing.
Yeah.
So you'll lose the nervousness and you'll look forward to it.
Yeah.
And the more we go out there, the easier it gets. It gets easier and better every single time. And there were times when I was younger, when I wasn't confident, that I was nervous, but I also was playing for smaller crowds. And as I got more confident, the crowds got bigger, and it came with the territory.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when we go out on stage, you know, we might be backstage in a green room, or we're on the bus, and you know, everyone in that I have in the band, we're all from the Bible Belt, as they call it. And I don't know, you're in California, right?
Yeah.
And so down in the South, down in the deep South, we have the Bible Belt where everyone goes to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it is in that part of the country, but that's how it is over here. So everyone has grown up as a Christian. And more times than not, we put our fists together in a circle and we say a short prayer.
Yeah.
And that's how we get ready to ask God to bless us and our performance availability and keep us safe on the road.
What's the feeling like when a crowd loves your music and you're up in front of those that 20,000 people? Were people just like loving it? And what was that feeling like for you?
Well, I don't remember walking.
Right?
I don't remember walking across the stage.
Nice.
If that's what you mean.
Yeah,
it's great because I've got a song, you know, you've heard Drive.
Yeah.
And the song Drive, we do a live performance version of Drive where we stop and I say, as we're playing, after I sing the first verse, I say, all right, I need everybody in here to repeat after me. When I say go, I need y'all to say go.
Yeah.
And when I say roll, I need y'all to say roll. Can y'all help me out? And I say, let's say it one time. 1, 2, 3. I want to go. And I pointed my finger out the crowd, and like 15,000 out of the 20,000 people up front said, go. And it was just like a roar of breath and spit coming my way. I loved it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, go, go. I was like, and the lights went up, and they have someone controlling the light show. And man, it was just a feeling that I could never really explain.
Yeah.
It was like you've worked your entire life for people to know your music, and now here you are, and they're enjoying it. And that's worth more than anything they could write on a dotted line on a paycheck.
Mm-hmm. That is awesome. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you at a show or on the road?
The craziest thing.
Yeah, craziest thing. Like, you know, anything happen, you know, with, you know, the crowd or, you know, a fan or anything.
I will talk about something that's pretty funny. Recently, I sent my contract and my rider to the talent buyer for the Pittsburgh Seafood Festival, and he called me with a question. He said, "I'm kind of confused." And what it was, at the very end of my contract, it says purchasers shall not hold artists responsible for arrests, pregnancies, or divorces. And he was like, I'm really confused while that's in there. And so, you know, you hear about, it's kind of like, you know, you hear about like Motley Crue or Def Leppard, and they have contracts that said, hey, you know, there's got to be 1,000 green M&Ms and 3 brown ones. And if we see, or 1,000 red ones and 3 green ones, and if we see that it's not like that, then in the contract it'll say we reserve the right to trash the place, right? They're doing that because they want the promoters to pay attention.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get them to pay attention. And so that's kind of like, hey, I can't trash a place or whatever, and I don't want to request 1,000 green M&Ms. But what happened earlier on, we were playing about 4 or 5 years ago at a tavern in Kentucky, and things went great. And the bar owner said, hey, can you come back in 3 or 4 months? And I said, yeah, we can. And we came back. And the next time we went up there, right in the middle of the show, a beer bottle flies past my head,
Whoa.
Hits my ear and hits the drummer, and then another one flies and breaks on the guitar neck.
Dang.
And this guy's yelling, and he said, my wife left me, and it's all your fault, and blah, blah, blah. And they carry him out of there.
Whoa.
And to come to find out, the first time that we were there playing, we were playing like Tennessee Whiskey cover song, Chris Stapleton. And this woman was there without her husband, and she ended up dancing with another guy and going home with him and cheating on her husband and getting pregnant, and she left him. So she said, well, that's the reason that I left you, is because I was dancing with that guy at Tennessee Whiskey. They are to blame the band.
Oh,
and so
my
he got
God.
3 sheets to the wind and came into our show and was throwing beer bottles at me because his wife left him the last time we were there, and we played a song that she liked. So I tell that story when they ask about it, and they were laughing their pants off. But I said, I've got to put in there that the venue is not going to hold me responsible for pregnancies, arrests, or divorces.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Great story, man. Isn't that funny? That is classic, man.
Oh man, that's one of those things for the history books, I tell you.
So if people wanted to listen to your music and go to your website, where would they go?
I have ClaytonQ.com, CLAYTON, and the letter Q.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's also my social media handle. It's trademarked internationally, so you can literally just go to Google and type in Clayton Q all together, or a space between N and Q. You can go to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all social media platforms. Stream on Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, iTunes. Type in Clayton Q and it'll come up, and we'd love to have you listen to our music.
Yeah, everybody listening out there, make sure to go listen to his music. It's awesome. I was just turned on to it. It's amazing. And Clayton, I want to thank you so much for being on my podcast, man.
Hey, thank you so much, Guy, for having me on your podcast and giving me a chance for your fan base as well to get to know who I am and listen to my music. I've got music videos on YouTube, on Facebook Watch, and on another platform called iTube247.com. It reaches all over the world, and there's 350,000 subscribers per square mile, pretty much. They have millions of subscribers worldwide. The content delivery and the reach is amazing. And we play once a month here in Nashville. We started playing an event created by the owner, Jimmy Adams, and he works with Don King, boxing promoter. It's called Country Box, and where they'll have a boxing match, and in between the matches, they'll have live country music, and we've been performing at those matches, and it's been streamed on Fight.tv, FITE.tv. It's an app that's on the Apple Store, Apple TV, and on countrybox247.com and iTunes. And this last Tuesday, I learned on Wednesday that there were 547,000 plus people streaming it, like worldwide.
That's crazy.
So those are also great platforms that all my music and content will be delivered on here very shortly.
I will link all those onto my website so people can click on those and check them all out. I'll get all those links from you. But again, thanks again, Clayton, for being on my podcast. And
thank you, Guy.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for listening out there. And we'll talk soon, Clayton.
Sounds good, Guy. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Guy Jeans Podcast.